Hi everyone, welcome to your live readings for the full moon in Leo that's coming up in around a day. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're handling this month okay. If you're here, please say hi in the chat. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what your plans for this full moon that is coming up are. It's a Leo energy, so it's a powerful energy. It's one that pushes us to put ourselves forward, push ourselves forward, but also to show warmth and support to other people. And it's one that calls for pleasure and fun and enjoyment as well. All of that is Leo energy. So the question of how we fulfill ourselves, where we derive our pleasure and joy from, is absolutely central to this. Take the time to settle in, take the time to get yourselves nice and comfortable. And take a few nice deep breaths. Feel the energy come up through your feet, from the earth into your body. It's Leo, it's an active energy. Very, very active energy. Thank you, Victoria. It's wonderful to see you. I'm going to start off with the energy for the collective, and I'll move on to the 12 signs from Aries through to Pisces. So what are we all dealing with for this full moon in Leo? Collective energies for the full moon in Leo. Where are we? What are we heading towards as a collective? Okay. Yeah, okay. It feels good, it feels nice, it feels comfortable in a sense. And I want to say in a sense because there's a danger of a bit of antagonism flaring up within this. During this full moon, immediately after this full moon, this is the energy that I'm getting. And so this is about where you put your energy, how you use your energy most effectively. It's also about what you might be drawn into. What on a deep level you don't want to be drawn into, but these feel like potential arguments. They feel like draining situations, potentially like just being pulled into things. And this can also be in relation to kind of work projects or other projects in your life, practical things that are not going so well, and you feel the need to pile more and more energy in, even though it feels like it's at a loss. The conscious position is the 8 of Pentacles. So this is being hard at work, and this doesn't have to just be financial work. These can be all of your practical projects that you invest so much in. However, your subconscious doesn't want to be there. Your subconscious shows up there as the Fool. And this is kind of vital, is allowing that energy to come in, because the Fool, as you can see there, is joyful. That is enjoyment. So if it's all work or practical, or even worse, if it's all getting drawn into situations, maybe arguments with family members, maybe arguments with those who you work with, it doesn't feel all that productive. You're coming out of a place of the 2 of Pentacles where maybe you had to devote some energy to that, but we're now in this place of the 10 of Pentacles. So at this time, it comes down to what in our lives is bringing us joy, is moving us forward, feels like it's expansive. And what are we just piling energy into that just drains us? Because you have to choose which of these you align to. Do you really want to pour everything in to a leaky bucket? Because this is what you may be doing. Maybe you're feeling obligations to family members or things you started or people in your life, things that you are identify as commitments, but maybe they're not commitments. Maybe they are just other people's projected expectations. And when you don't live up to them, they start to get at you, to drain on you. Now, that doesn't lead to the best future if you just give up your energy like that. It leads to a 9 of Wands. This is tiring. This is draining. And I don't feel like you have the energy for this. So the decisions that you need to be making around this full moon are what you invest in. And if you are still going to invest, where you carve time out for joy, to feel free of this, to be in a place where there are not all these expectations being piled onto you. Now, these include expectations that you might be piling onto yourself that are unreasonable or unfair or out of alignment with who you actually need to be. What is the yardstick by which you're measuring yourself? Is it your own? Is it other people's? Is it genuine? Is it fair? Or are you on your case, or are they on your case? Because you've got to be taking a breath and pulling away in those circumstances. That is the collective energy for the full moon in Leo. Hi to everyone just tuning in. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Super Angry Koala. Please remember to like and share the video if you're able. That helps a huge amount. I'm going to move on now to the 12 signs from Aries through to Pisces. Hi, Dark Sunlight. So Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising for this full moon in Leo. Aries. Aries. Okay. Aries, you're acting quite fast, speaking quite fast, and there's stuff on your mind, there's stuff that you want to get heard, stuff that you want to be heard over, and you want people to kind of, I want to say almost get in line for you, but the sense that I'm getting is you might be disregarding other people at this time. And this is a bit of a flip, obviously, of the collective energy, but this is also about, I want to say you might be a little bit quick, a little bit overbearing, and in a space where you're not paying too much attention to the impact you're having on others. And this isn't great either. You're coming in with the Knight of Swords, and I feel this is you. I feel that you're carrying the Knight of Swords energy here, Aries, and I feel like you're trying to power your way through, and you're trying to power your way through people, and it's not the most effective or kindest thing to be doing at this time, and you got to watch for this behavior. Now I have the King of Pentacles showing up for you. I also have Judgment showing up for you. So what seems to be motivating you here is a little bit of insecurity, and because you're dealing with a bit of insecurity, you are therefore needing to kind of almost lay down the law, almost dominate other people. And what I want to say is be careful. Be careful who you might be trampling. Be careful whose needs, beliefs, ideals, or situations you might be disregarding at this time, Aries. I don't feel like you're behaving in a deliberately nasty way, but I do feel that you may not be being wonderfully caring, considerate, or empathetic, and you just need to bring this into check a little at this time. I hope that makes sense for you. Hi, Mimi on stage. Hi, Priya. The next sign is going to be Taurus. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising for this full moon in Leo. Taurus. What are you up to at this time, Taurus? Taurus, you might be overindulging, and I know that's in character, but you might be using this kind of stuff as an escape route or as a coping method. And this full moon, I feel, is just calling on you to get a little wise around this, around the things that you might be doing to excess, around the things that you might have been doing for a bit too long, around the things that are not in a healthy balance, and maybe you're not approaching them in the healthiest way. And this could be things like drinking, this could be things like overeating, this could also be things like overwork or isolating yourself. All of these are coming through. All of these are coming through as potential coping methods, and these are examples. I want to stress that. But they're coming in with the moon. So this is a reflection of a deeper underlying issue, something that you're struggling with, maybe an old trauma, maybe something unresolved, something that you stuffed down, something that you never really grappled with or got to grips with. And this full moon is calling for you to make a bit of a change in this regard. And it starts with awareness. It starts with a deep-rooted emotional awareness that you need to come into, because that's what I feel you're blocking out. But with the Queen of Cups as your challenge, there is this sense that there is a need to really get in touch with yourself on a deep emotional level and try to understand what's driving these behaviors at this time, because it kind of feels like you've been avoiding this in quite a major way. Queen of Cups here could also be somebody who you're engaging with to help you get in touch with that subconscious stuff. Now that could be a psychic, a healer, could be a counselor or a hypnotherapist or someone similar, but I feel that somebody is capable of holding space for you in order to start to reach into that stuff. With the Ace of Wands as your final card, this is about being able to start to see a way to do things a bit differently, because this, I feel, is holding you up. I feel it's damaging your creativity, it's damaging your ability to express fully, it's damaging your ability to reach outwards and lay fresh roots and move things forward. I hope that makes sense for you, Taurus. The next sign is going to be Gemini. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising for this full moon in Leo. Gemini. Gemini. Okay. This is about where your comfort zone lies, Gemini. This is about those of you whose comfort zone lies in being the source of advice, the source of knowledge, someone who might try to dictate to everyone else what they should be doing, the expert on everything. Because it feels like this is just a tiny bit unhealthy at the moment, and it feels like you may You may really start to upset a few people if you just kind of go in like this at this time. So this is your area of adjustment at this time. I have the Fool showing up for you, but I also have the Ten of Cups showing up as your challenge. So the sense that I'm getting is you want to feel needed. You want to feel like you offer something specific and useful and valuable and insightful, and that supports other people. But it's also like you're doing this for your own ends, essentially. It's kind of a little bit of fueling of the ego there in some sense. And it may not be what those people want, and you need to be careful when you're going overboard like this, and when you might be squashing them or stopping them from finding their own answers, their own solutions, or simply just not holding enough space for them. With the Devil as your advice card, there is an issue here, Gemini. It's an issue with how you're using your knowledge, your insight, how you're conducting yourself in relation to other people. And yes, it's okay to feel good from being able to help, but you can cross a line and push your help onto people who don't necessarily want it. And this is that line that you're kind of around at this full moon. And it's the one that you need to look out for and reevaluate over. I hope that makes sense for you, Gemini. The next sign is going to be Cancer. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising for this full moon in Leo. Cancer. Cancer. This feels like a really nice and valuable energy, this full moon for you, Cancer. I feel like you're around the right people. I feel like you're feeling appreciated. I feel like you're feeling quite hopeful, optimistic. You're making plans of how to move forward. I feel like there's a lot of love around you in the sense of affection rather than necessarily romantic love. But I feel very, very strongly that you're being made to feel very valued at this time, and you're just feeling comfortable in the air of it and the space of it as you come in with the Two of Wands. And there are two things that you need to be doing here, Cancer. One, with the Queen of Wands, is to take and draw on this energy and use it to propel you forward. Use it to move you into action, into pushing forward, in not just to setting goals, but actually moving upon them. Allow your kind of inner, I wouldn't say inner voice, but inner urge to tell you the way to what you do next. That's one part of it. The second part of it is the Queen of Swords. So you're coming up with the Queens here, Cancer, as you often do. But what I feel here is be a little mindful and aware. You see, some of those around you offering all this support and affection, I feel, are genuine. And some are kind of chancing it a bit. Might want to steer you down a different path. And that's why you got to allow that inner urge to direct you. Don't allow yourself to be taken off course. It feels like a nice energy on the whole. Just make sure that you're the one making your own decisions and no one else is kind of pulling your strings, coming out of this full moon. I hope that makes sense for you, Cancer. Hi, Pam. The next sign is going to be Leo. Leo, sun, moon, and rising for this full moon in Leo. So you have a full moon in your sign, Leo. Leo. Very, very nice energy, Leo. Very, very strong energy. I feel around your love life, around dating. And what I want to bring through here is I feel like you're likely to, especially those of you who are single or dating casually, you're likely to have a very, very nice encounter with someone around this full moon. And you might feel this as the start of something big, something potentially beautiful. And you just need to be careful not to over attach to a longer term within this, because while it feels nice, it also feels like it might be something that burns out a little earlier. And that doesn't negate its value. Or if it doesn't burn out earlier, it may not be quite how you pre-planned it. It may twist and turn, be up and down, and it might place certain demands on you to alter yourself and your approach in such a way that you can truly connect with this person. For the main thing, you need to be staying in the moment, but you also need to abandon any expectations of what this might become, how it might go, how somebody else has to interact in relation to you in order to make something worthwhile. All of this essentially, as you come in with the teacher. And what I feel you have with the teacher here is kind of your pre-written plan of how an interaction will go, how a relationship will go. And you've got it, the minutiae down to like a fine detail. It doesn't allow a lot of room for movement or growth. And it's not quite going to fit like that. I have the Ace of Cups for you, but I also have Revolution for you. So it's not going to be that. It feels worthwhile. It feels loving. It feels affectionate. It just doesn't feel like it's going to fit into your pre-laid plan of how this is going to work out. So you've got to be a lot more fluid. You've got to be prepared to adjust to this, either being short-term or developing in a different way, or placing new expectations on you, meaning that you have to evolve a bit to work with this person, to deal with this person, to be with this person. Real challenges for a dominant energy like you, Leo. But it feels on the whole nice. It feels good. It feels positive. You just need to avoid loading too much of your own bullshit onto it. I hope that makes sense for you, Leo. The next sign is going to be Virgo. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising for this full moon in Leo. Virgo. Virgo. I feel you're moving forward on a few things, Virgo. I also feel you're doing so surprisingly unconfidently. It's like you're taking steps maybe into the unknown, maybe applying extra pressure to yourself, maybe without a full level of confidence and belief. And that makes things a little precarious, not because I feel there is precarity in what you're approaching, but because there's precarity and maybe some fragility in your own conviction around the things that you're initiating as you come in with the Two of Wands. So you're taking action. You're definitely taking action. With your challenge of the Ace of Pentacles, you're getting started on new things. You're producing something solid. Now, these may be new work projects. These might be things like plans to relocate, buy a home. There might be something that you're investing in. You could be studying. It's areas like this. It's very practical, very Virgo, but very practical, the Ace of Pentacles. But this is new ground, or at least a new area of focus that you're not coming into with the greatest deal of happy experiences behind you. And I feel that you got to push through it. You got to go with it. You got to prove your point in practice. With the Eight of Cups as your advice, the sense that I get is you got to vanquish that self-doubt, and the only way you're going to do so is by pushing yourself through this in practice. So you got this issue with confidence. Maybe a bit of paranoia as well. Maybe you expect someone to sabotage you. I don't feel that's going to happen, but I do feel that you've got to start working with what underpins things, what causes that for you. You can't avoid that, but what you can do is start to prove yourself wrong by proving your point in practice. I hope that makes sense for you, Virgo. Thank you, Carlo. The next sign is going to be Libra. Libra, sun, moon, and rising for this full moon in Leo. Libra. Libra. You like a love situation, Libra, don't you? And I do feel that this is love related for you around this full moon. However, I want you to be careful about the situation that you're encountering, because some of you are facing someone who's trying to pull a bit of a fast one with you. Might be trying to offer more than they can deliver. Some of you are on the flip side of it and are feeling unconfident about getting involved with somebody who actually bears you no harm at all. But either way, there's a need to keep a cool and rational head here. Coming through very, very strongly. What it's about for you is the devil. So there's a potential commitment here. And one way or the other, you may be reading it wrong. You may be reading it wrong. You need to be careful because some of your past influences and experiences are weighing on you. They're causing you difficulties here. And it's like you keep expecting to come undone. So you second guess yourself. It becomes very nasty. Death is your shadow card here. It's like you keep expecting to be proved wrong, or there must be something else to this, or this must be this, or this must be this, or this must be this. And actually, no, you just need to deal with what is in front of you and what that actually means. I have Judgment for you. I also have the King of Swords for you. I want to remind you that you're in charge of your situation. You're in charge of who you get involved with. You're in charge of who you don't get involved with. You get to make that decision, Libra. Don't allow someone to kind of I'm getting that someone like has like a leash on you and they're sort of yanking and pulling you along, and it's just sort of like you got to be able to choose this for yourself. The main thing coming through, so you're letting someone else call the shots when I don't feel like you should be. Remember, there's judgment there for you. Judgment. So you just got to be a bit wise to what you're dealing with. Wise to your situation, but crucially, taking control and taking decisions for yourself rather than allowing the other person to dictate to you, because they seem to have this influence over you. Keep a cool head. Keep your own rationality. Keep your own judgment around this. I hope that makes sense for you, Libra. The next sign is going to be Scorpio. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising for this full moon in Leo. Scorpio. Scorpio. On the one hand, you're quite insightful around this full moon, Scorpio. You're seeing a lot of things, you're recognizing a lot of patterns, analyzing situations, and it's like you're just seeing really quickly, bang, I know what that is, bang, I know what that is, bang, I know what that is. And that's good. That part is good. What's the difficulty? The difficulty is I don't feel like people want to listen to you, Scorpio. No matter how insightful, no matter how correct, I don't feel like you have the audience. And I feel you're looking for that audience. I feel you're looking for approval. And you need to not. You need to get on with things for yourself. You're coming in with the 5 of Wands. And this is the thing, is that I feel like you're feeling quite potent, quite powerful. And with the Page of Pentacles as your challenge, you have these ideas, things you want to move on, but I feel like you want other people on for the ride, and they're not going to be. They are not going to be. What does that mean? It means you've got to go do it yourself. King of Wands. Go act on your ideas. Go act on your insights. Go create something. Go prove something. I don't feel like you're going to convince people with your words. I don't feel like it's a worthwhile use of your energy. It just feels like you're surrounded by a little bit of disinterest, essentially. And you can take that to heart, or you can just be like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I know what I know what I know. I know what I need to do. I'm going to get on. And I'm going to push forward and not wait around for permission. I hope that makes sense for you, Scorpio. The next sign is going to be Sagittarius. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising for this full moon in Leo. Sag. Sagittarius. What are you avoiding, Sagittarius? What are you hiding from? What are you trying to get away from? It's a very earthy energy for you, despite this being a full moon in Leo. I kind of feel you sort of, I've literally got you sort of like kicking around at home, and it's like you've got your pet dogs with you and you're petting them, and you're kind of relaxing into that, or trying to relax into that, and trying to sort of avoid the outside world. And the sense that I get is there's something that you really want to avoid, that you really want to get away from. And it's okay to take a break, and it's okay to take a time out, but you still got to deal with the world at some stage. And I feel like you might be looking a little too hard to avoid that. I have the Knight of Swords for you. So you're looking for a way out of something, a way away from something. So you're not just avoiding. I feel like there's something that you just want to leave. Go away, get rid of. I don't want it. I don't want it, because when I think about it, it's very upsetting. I don't want it. With the Eight of Swords, see you hiding. Not very convincingly or effectively, but it's you hiding. Trying to find a way to sort of keep yourself out of harm's way. And the Nine of Swords. It may well be something very serious that you're dealing with, that you're trying to avoid. However, I don't feel that you can avoid it. And while you're allowed to take a bit of comfort, a bit of a break, a bit of solace, by the same token, you got to go and face whatever this is at some stage. You can't just bury it under the carpet or bury your head in the sand, Sag. I hope that makes sense for you. The next sign is going to be Capricorn. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising for this full moon in Leo. Capricorn. Capricorn. You seem disinterested, Capricorn, specifically disinterested in other people, disinterested in what other people are going through, dealing with, what they're up to. It's like your back is just firmly turned and you're not looking. There's like this whole big, like, it's actually like a wall of flames that you've erected between you and them, so people can't get to you. So you may be closing off to people, you may be isolating, you may not be doing this on a conscious level, but there's a sense in which you have detached. Feels safe, feels predictable. Feels a little bit, I want to say boring, I want to say unfulfilling as well, Capricorn. Be careful with this one. You're coming in with the Ten of Pentacles, so you're not quite as secure and safe as you're making out. It feels a little bit false. This is a comfort zone. And you have more about you than this. And I feel like there are people who need you around, need you to acknowledge them, need your support, maybe wanting to offer you some support, maybe just want to play a role in your life. And it's like you've gone so pessimistic and isolationist that you can't see the good and the value in that, and you've got to flip that a bit, Capricorn. The Wheel of Fortune, so there are opportunities for you to do so around this full moon. And with the Page of Cups, I do feel really, really strongly that you got to reach out into that, into other people's lives, into what they're dealing with, into just a bit more caring, Capricorn, because deep down you do care. Even though you put up the cold and steely exterior, you do care. Sometimes you need their help and support in your life as well. So that's your area of work for this full moon. I hope that makes sense for you, Capricorn. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Margaret. The next sign is going to be Aquarius. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising for this full moon in Leo. Aquarius. Nikki with the most Capricorn statement ever there. Okay, Aquarius. Things are moving fast before your eyes, Aquarius. Blink, blink, blink. The picture keeps changing. The situation around you keeps changing. You may not quite be able to believe what you're seeing happening in front of you. The way people are acting, the way people are behaving, both on a personal scale and on a wider global scale. And it's kind of actually taking you aback. And there's a sense in which you're then like, well, what do I do about this? And the answer is you've got to do something, Aquarius. You're the humanitarian sign. Don't forget this. So you can't just sit everything out. You can't just avoid everything. You do have some insight to offer. You also have some work to offer. You can get involved. There are things that you can be doing. And it's almost like you decided that certain things are not your problem, not your business, even though they're wider and they're more collective than that, in which case they are, because they're everyone's. You're coming in with the Two of Swords. Choosing not to see at times. Choosing not to see what you can offer. Choosing not to take responsibility. Choosing not to do anything. Challenge is the Five of Pentacles. Shit is hard out there. Some people are having a really fucking hard time out there. And what, you're just taking a back seat and paying no attention. I don't feel it. I feel like you're avoiding it. Avoiding it rather than engaging in it. But you got something to offer. The Knight of Wands. Like, come on, you can get involved here. You can help someone out. You can put your arm around them. You can give them some money. You can volunteer. You can do whatever. But you can offer something here, Aquarius. It's like you're a little bit too high and mighty. You're washing your hands of things a little bit too much. You've got to go and get those hands dirty. You've got to go get those hands dirty, Aquarius. I hope that makes sense for you. The final sign is going to be Pisces. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising for this full moon in Leo. Pisces. I feel like you're okay, Pisces, at the moment. I feel like you're fairly comfortable, fairly fixed in place. It feels okay. It feels like you know where you are. I also feel like you're a little scared to put a single foot wrong or out of place or step off this narrow line at all, because then you feel like your whole world's going to come crashing down. And this is quite rigid. And I want to say you kind of need to You need to be taking more risks and chances than that. And that doesn't mean go and gamble your life or your safety away, but it does mean opening up to other possibilities and other ways of doing things. You're coming in with the 7 of Swords. So you're a little scared of the world at times as well, except when it's in this nice little neat package, which you know where you're at within it, but you can't possibly go beyond that because then it gets big and scary. I have the Hermit for you. Hermit that wanted to jump out of my hands there. So this is where I feel you're at, but where you shouldn't be. Very narrow approach. Closed off, closed down. You got to be opening up a bit more than that. I also have the Teacher for you as your advice card. I actually feel like you need to take a bit more control, a bit more trust in yourself, set a bit more of the agenda, and you might do that yourself, or you might bring in somebody like a coach or a guide or a mentor of some kind, but this is somebody who knows their shit, basically, and can help shift you in out of this narrow approach to somewhere wider. And I want to say it's actually going to be good when you do that. It's not going to be so scary. You're going to feel more accomplished. You're going to feel a lot freer as well. It's something that you can do for yourself, some of you Pisces, but some of you need that helping hand, that encouragement. But either way, that is kind of the break that you need to be making around this full moon in Leo. I hope that makes sense for you, Pisces. That is all 12 signs. Thank you all so much for watching through those. I have time to pull cards for a couple of people. If you have a question for me, please pop it in the live chat and I will see which of you I am drawn to. And whilst I'm waiting to see if any of those come through, if you would like to book a personal reading or an astrology reading with me, please feel free to do so. You can get in touch. My details are just in the box below. If you'd like to leave me a tip or a donation, again, my details are also there. If you'd like to interview me, collaborate with me, or get in touch with me for anything else that I can help you with, again, all of my details are just in the box below. It's very quiet in the live chat tonight, so if there are no questions coming through, that's okay. You're all very shy, in which case, feel free to get in touch with me for a personal reading privately. Thank you all so much for being here. Have a wonderful afternoon, evening, night, or morning, depending on where you are in the world. And I'll see you all again really soon. Thank you.